What's going on, guys? Alex here, back at you finally after a little bit of a winter hiatus. Unfortunately, there's not a whole hell of a lot of content to really go through during the winter. So ultimately, I had to make the decision to take about 2 weeks off from uploading, just to be able to have enough content to cover reliably cover the next couple weeks. 2 weeks before I go down to Extravaganza now. Today, as of recording this, I'm so lost on time right now. I'm pretty sure it's Monday, 2 weeks before Extravaganza. So about 2 weeks now until I head down, or heading down on Monday. I'll be there. Obviously, we're heading down there Monday, so I won't get there till late Monday night. But I'll be there all day Tuesday, Wednesday, and most of Thursday. I'll be fairly open almost all day Tuesday to walk around and just really take all that is Paintball Extravaganza in, and hopefully with new and better video equipment, I'll be able to go down there and do a little bit better of the social media deal for you guys, and check out everything that's new and cool, and stuff that's a lot of stuff that's not new but still cool, and just take everything in that there is there. So yeah, hopefully I should be pretty settled in now and have enough stuff recorded for the next couple weeks. It should hold me over till Extravaganza, and then we're open here at the park and the pro shop the following weekend after Extravaganza. So we'll be into the 2015 season, and we'll be getting going, and that'll basically given the means to get really back onto a normal upload schedule. So again, I apologize for a little bit of the winter hiatus. I had to just kind of make the final decision on that. But hopefully you guys are still paying attention and being entertained. So let's go ahead and get into this video. Obviously, I got a box right next to me, and I got a gun case in front of me. Today we're going to take a look at the Planet Eclipse Etek 5. So we finally got one in. Yes, it's been out for a little while. We're definitely not the first person to have one in. Probably one of the last, just because, for the most part, we are shut down here over the winter. So buying a bunch of Etek 5s, not really, the smartest business decision for us, because they'd just be sitting here, and that's just a lot of money stapled to the wall that we really need elsewhere at the time. So we got this in for a customer order, and luckily enough, I have a couple days to mess around with it and check it out. So here we go. I'm going to make a video on it. In the box, your standard Planet Eclipse barrel bag, your standard super nice, fancy, best in the industry manual. Once again, full color. Again, you can't beat Planet Eclipse manuals. Warranty card in the back per usual. All the nice full color detailed pictures and stuff like that. So we can go ahead and put that stuff aside. You've got your standard shaft 4 barrel without all the milling and stuff like that. So it's the same standard shaft 4 barrel that you're getting with previous the Etek 4 as well as the Etha. And go ahead and put that together. So we've got that. Your really nice, super good Planet Eclipse spare parts kit, oil, as well as the really nice Planet Eclipse stainless steel Allen keys with the hex ball lens, which is really nice, as well as the whole holder is actually basically a torque wrench for Allen keys, which is super nice. And here we have it. We've got the Etek 5. Just my first reaction. Obviously a lot of the videos that go up, when new guns come out, everybody's just gonna, take it out of the box, do exactly what I just did, and, the packaging's really good, blah, 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 and then they're gonna hold it, and, oh man, yeah, it feels real good in the hands, and blah, 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 blah. I don't really care so much about that. How the gun actually feels in your hands, I think, is completely dependent on you as an individual. Some guns feel good to others. For instance, a ton of people think the axe feels really, really great in their hands. I personally don't. I think it feels really, really bad in my hands. So me telling you it feels good in the hands, personally, I think tells you guys absolutely nothing. If you want a really basic, what I think about it, I mean, yeah, it feels comfortable. I think they did a really good job with the rubber grip up here. There's some contact points here on the inside, as well as down here. There's a little contact point where basically this whole grip is rubber, but on these two individual parts, they did like a little they graded it so it kind of feels like sandpaper. So it's really, really sticky instead of, the whole thing is rubber up here, but it's really smooth. So if that gets wet and covered in paint, I can see that being a little bit slippery. But I think these contact points that they put here, where they put a bunch of slices and made it really gritty like sandpaper, I think those are going to stick really well, even if it's covered in paint and oil and stuff like that. I really like that about it. The way they integrated the 45 collar on the reg for macro line, I don't feel like it gets in the way at all. It doesn't. I don't feel like I'd be bothered by it with either hand because it's so far down and out of the way. So really, you've got the feel of an LV one, I think, which is really cool. So right up front, this little front part, that's the same part you get on the LV ones, like the little LPR. The LPR is actually down here, but this is like the front cap for like the RAM, the whole valve RAM tube. It does kind of push in and out. I'm not sure what's up with that. Obviously, it's under spring tension, but the LV one doesn't do that. So I'm not sure if that's supposed to be. I don't know if you gas it up, if that's gonna like stay solid and you won't be able to kind of push it, but it does kind of pop in and out. It has with that spring tension. So I'm not sure what's up with that. If it doesn't do anything, it doesn't do anything, and that's cool. I don't know if it's supposed to be designed like that. Yeah, I don't know. It's a $500 gun. Is it going to bother you out on the field? No, absolutely not. I don't think so. But it is just a little point that I noticed. Just kind of, I don't know what's going on with that. Obviously, you can't really feel it when you're holding it or anything like that, so I don't think it's really that big of a deal. Other than that, the grip they put on the actual frame itself, they did the same deal as with up front. Obviously, it's all rubber, and most of it is pretty smooth, but you do have right here, and it's the same on the other side. You have a little part right here, and you have a little part right here that's got that same gritty sandpaper texture to it that I can imagine that's going to be really, really sticky, even if it's covered in paint or water or something like that. So I think that's really cool. Planet Eclipse grips, they feel comfy. I like the rubber that they use. I think it feels really, really well. The trigger, it's the same. It's not really any different than previous Etek models. Although the spring tension and everything that's on it, I don't know if it's just this particular one, because they all come a little different in the box, and obviously you're going to adjust it to your personal likings and stuff like that. But out of the box, it's super light and crisp and snappy. I really like that. I feel like I could get a really high sustainable rate of fire with that. I like it. It feels better to me than the ones that are on the Etha and the ones that are on the Geo. Like the trigger between the Geo and the LV1 is essentially the same exact trigger. It's the same exact shape, same exact everything. It looks like that has the same contact point and the same pivot point, but I like the trigger on the LV1 so much better. I feel like I can lock that trigger better if I feel like I'm more comfortable getting a higher rate of fire with it, and that follows down into the Etek. I feel like this, I don't know how it's set up. Maybe like the swing adjustment point is a little bit different, the pivot point with the trigger pin, and just like the spring tension that's with it. I feel like it's really good. I feel like you can really have no problem sustaining high rates of fire in semi, and certainly have no problem sustaining PSP. Down on the bottom, it's the same ASA that was on the previous Etek and the Etha, so no problems there. The eye covers, they went with definitely just like a straight, it's almost like the ones they did with like the Ego 10, Ego 9. That, and with the milling that they did on the body, it's definitely simplistic, but I really like the lines. I think it looks really, really good. I think it looks like a $500-600 gun, whereas I feel like the previous Eteks, with like the Etek 4. They looked big, it looked blocky. It didn't look like that expensive of a gun than what it actually was at the price point. I feel like, the milling and the stylizing in here, I think it really looks like, a more quality piece. I think it actually looks like it would be a $500, $600 piece, which I think is a big part of it, because, people to a certain degree buy with their eyes. I mean, that's just how it is. If you're looking at two different products and they both do exactly the same thing, they both perform exactly the same way, but one looks better, and more often than not, you're going to go with the one that looks better because it just looks better. So I think that's a huge factor, and I really like the stylized milling that they went with it. It's simple and it's sleek, but it looks nice. It looks finished. It looks looks like it has a touch of class to it, almost. So right on the back here. So obviously you can get the little OLED board drop-in, which I actually have one. I can show you inside the package. It's a blister package, so I'm not going to cut it open and take it out, obviously, because it's for the store. But it just fits in with this window right here that looks like it's just like a little paper cutout or something like that as a placeholder. It just says Etek 5. And when you turn the gun on, this section doesn't light up or anything, so I'm assuming it's just like a little paper cutout that's stuck in there. But you get yourself a nice little chrome holder right here, and the button's definitely recessed enough that you're never going to accidentally push it. And it's a lot smaller, and it's not a rubber pad anymore either. It's a metal button, which I think it looks a lot better. Little metal button with just a small little flashing LED kind of, line right there, whatever you want to call it. I think it looks a lot better than the giant rubber nav console with the 3 buttons. It definitely looks better than the previous Etek, where you had the giant rubber nav console and you had one giant button that was always super hard to push, and then it lit up with like all the 3 LEDs and stuff like that. I really don't like that. I like this simplistic yet stylized, classy looking little back nav console part. I definitely enjoy the fact that the button is recessed as much as it is. It's certainly not hard to push by any means, but you're not going to accidentally push it with like the palm of your hand, which I seem to do with my Lux all the damn time. So I definitely appreciate that. As I drop it right there. Cure 5 bolt comes standard in the Etek 5 now. It's pretty much the same bolt that comes in the LV1. You get your big, nice rubber soft tip with the Venturi porting up front. The rammer, from what I understand, I believe it's the ZIC 3. I'm going to look on the box here just because I want to make sure. And I don't want to jack that up because then I'll get ruined by the internet. Doesn't actually say on it on the box. Obviously, it's probably in the manual somewhere. I'm pretty sure, as far as I remember correctly, it's the ZIC 3 rammer. So I would assume, I didn't see anywhere in the packaging. Obviously, it doesn't come with the second part of the ZIC 3 rammer, the heavy model, comes with the LV one. I don't know if that one would fit in here. I'm not sure if the inner diameter of the bottom tube is the same, so where you could swap them. So I would assume this is just like the standard rammer. I don't know what one comes in the stock LV one. I don't remember if it's the light or heavy. But this one only comes with one. It's a $500 gun. I don't need it coming with 2 rams. I think one is quite enough. It's not really that big of a deal. So other than that, obviously a lot of people thought these things were going to have the lever valve because of the way they did the whole front end. They do not. They have a standard poppet valve. There's no lever valve in this marker. I would assume everybody knows that by now, but if you don't, there you go. There's no lever valve in here. Just your standard rammer hitting the square / round headed poppet, opening the valve, no lever, nothing like that. So I haven't shot this. I'm not going to, because this is a customer's gun unless the customer wants me to test it. But I would have to imagine it's probably, with the new ZIC 3 rammer, it's probably a little smoother than Etek 4. I would feel like I could safely assume that it's a lot smoother than Etek 4. But obviously it's not going to be LV1 smooth or anything like that, or Geo smooth or something like that. Maybe reminiscent to like an Ego 9, maybe, maybe an Ego 10. So it's still going to have a bit of kick. I can probably safely assume that it's still going to be loud, like an Etek always is. Obviously we're all used to how quiet LV1s are now because they've been out for so long, and the Etek 4 was out for so long. Everybody kind of got used to how loud that was. So I think it's going to be quieter than previous models, but definitely it's going to be louder than I think we're used to because of LV1. Other than that, I mean, there's without really diving into it, all the internals are going to be pretty much the same. The reg is going to be pretty much the same as LV1 and Geo and stuff like that. It's the same reg, it's just got a different rubber covering sheath. So really, there's not too much to really review about Etek 5. I mean, there's not that many new features about it. They shifted the whole front piece to have the little front valve cap right here, and they shifted the LPR down underneath the rubber where the LV1 is, so this whole front end is stylized as LV1. But other than that, if you take away that, it's just a newly milled Etek with a better bolt and a better rammer, and it just looks better. It's just the next generation thing. It's not it's not a whole totally brand new gun. It's not new technology or anything like that. So honestly, there's not too much else to really go over with it. About how big this gun is comparatively to an LV1. I can go ahead and grab my LV1 because it's on the wall right here. And if I stand these two markers up by themselves, well, not by themselves, I'm going to hold them. If I stand them up and just kind of line up the ASAs right here, there we go. So line up the ASAs. It's fairly clear that, let's see. All right. So the Etek 5 is actually where this front part is, where the front of the grips are up there. It's actually just a touch longer than the LV1, and it's definitely taller than the LV1. Fairly safely, I'd say it's with the body, it's probably a whole, I don't know, maybe a quarter inch, maybe 3/5 of an inch higher than the LV1. So it's definitely, the Etek is definitely taller. They line up in the front pretty much the same, but I'd have to say the Etek 5 is probably a touch longer. As it lines up in the back and everything like that, the Etek 5 on the actual frame itself seems to have much more of a palm swell coming down in the back, where the Ego on the frame is, when it comes down from here, it's really just like a straight down, it's doesn't even look like a 45. It almost looks like maybe a 70 degree slant right here, where it's pretty much straight. Whereas with the Etek, it's actually got some palm swell back here, which I think is definitely, for me, because I'm so used to my LV1, I'm not sure how I feel about it. Traditionally, before I got really used to the LV1, I would definitely tend to prefer having a little bit of palm swell. I feel like it fills out my hand when I'm holding the gun a lot better, and it makes me feel like I'm holding on to more of the gun, which gives me more control. But other than that, up front feels pretty much the same because the rubber and the front cap are aligned in the same way. Again, Etek's a little taller, seems to be just a hair longer to the front grip part right here. So no surprises there. Obviously, it's going to be a bigger, heavier, bulkier gun than the LV1. It can't be the LV1, or else they would have no point to sell the LV1. So really, there's not too much else to honestly say about it. I think it's a great looking gun. I think they did a fantastic job with it. I like the fact that they have the little OLED board to drop in. I guess just so you guys can see it, I'll grab it. It's right here on the table. Can't take it out of the package I'm gonna get real close into the camera here. What's going on? I can't tell if this is actually... Oh, look at that. I can take it out of the package because it's not stapled. Look at that. Planet Eclipse being all fancy, letting us take it out of the package. Come on now. It is super cold in here. This plastic is really just... Hey. Alright, there you go. So there's the OLED board. If the camera would politely zoom in, I don't think there's any light. Let's move the light. Hey, there we go. So there's the OLED board. A little tiny thing. It's like 2/3 the size of my finger. Granted, I have really small hands because I'm, pretty short dude. But it's really, really tiny. Obviously, it's really, really thin, as you can see there. Looks like it just has a screen. And how does it actually plug in? So it looks like if it would sit right here in the gun, it's got some gold plug-in fingers right there, and it looks like you would just have to take the board out of the gun, plug this in just to an existing port, and then just drop it back in. So there you go. There's your little Etek 5 OLED board, little tiny baby board, and that's about it. Let's go ahead and put that back in the package because I don't want to lose it. Let's see what it actually says on the little card. This is a little impromptu video, so if you guys are still with me, welcome to me completely winging videos. Right here it says graphical OLED module, 128 by 32 resolution. That's tiny. 2000:1 contrast ratio, crisp white details, plug and play. So there you go. It comes in black background with white text, and for how big it is, it's pretty high def, I would say. So not a terrible deal. The drop-in OLED board is $80. So you're starting out with your $550 Etek 5. You got to add $80 if you want the OLED board. So that brings you to what, I can't math, it's really cold. $630. So is this a $630 gun with the OLED board? That's hard. That's really hard. Do I think this is a $550 gun? All day, absolutely. This is I would pay $550 for this gun. I think the performance is there. I think it looks quality to me. I think it looks like a $550 gun. That's really it. I'm pretty. I'm not really undecisive about it at all. I would absolutely just straight up pay $550 for this gun. I think it's done well enough. I think the performance is there. To me personally, is this OLED board worth $80? Kind of, yes. To me, it is, because I like that feature. I really, really enjoy having a screen to look at for changing settings and doing all that kinds of stuff. I think it just makes life so much easier, and I think it adds a good element to the gun to make it that much of a nicer piece, to where it really elevates it to a $600 piece, with the OLED board and stuff like that. I think it really really comes off as, wow, that's actually a nice gun. I could definitely see paying $630 for it. So I think it's worth it personally for me, because that's what I'm used to at this point, and I really find it invaluable for changing settings and doing all that kinds of stuff. And I think it looks good enough and it's really sharp that I probably wouldn't mind throwing it in an Etek and paying $630 for it. I think it's definitely better than previous Etek models where they came out at $550 and it was like, does that really look like a $550 gun? No, not really. I think this does. I'm really happy with the way it came out. I think they did a fantastic job. So yeah, that's pretty much it, because again, there's not too much else to go over. I can definitely do some other video about it in the future if you have a specific question or anything on the Etek 5 itself. As far as the maintenance for this Etek, because mechanically, except for the lever valve, the way everything comes out, all the guts and stuff is set up just like the LV one. If you're curious about maintenance, I would go check out the field maintenance or whatever maintenance video I put up for the LV one. It's going to be the same as far as taking out the rammer and the bolt and the little front section and the reg. It's going to be the same deal, so I would encourage you just to go check that out. If somebody wants me to, I will put up an individual video as a maintenance for the Etek 5. But other than that, that's about it for going over the Etek 5 and the Etek 5 drop-in OLED display. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any more suggestions for stuff for me to go over in this winter to help me get past this really bad downtime, definitely leave it in the comments section below. I'd love to hear your ideas and your opinions on stuff. I'd also love to hear your opinion on the Etek 5 as well. First off, would you pay $550 for this marker? What's your honest opinion? Do you think it's worth that much money? Secondly, I would love to hear your opinions on the OLED display. Do you guys really think this is $80? Would you guys pay $80 for this? Do you think if you're grabbing these, would you pay $630 for this thing? If with the OLED, what do you guys think? What's your thoughts on that? So I'd love to hear that down in the comment section below. But yeah, that's about it. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, anything like that, again, comment section below. So thanks for joining me. That's all I got for you guys so far, and I will see you guys next time.